sure, and they have to actually find the right delegated teams to do that for them.
Yeah, so I'm a very strong believer first-time entrepreneurs and young entrepreneurs are the ones who have changed the world. It's really not serial entrepreneurs as much. Entrepreneurship is not for faint-hearted. It's a marathon. It's a sprint as well as a marathon. Every day you sprint, but then you go to bed knowing that you're running a marathon. So there's going to be many cycles, right? There are many crusts and troughs, up cycles versus recessions. So you need to figure out how to navigate, both headwinds and then take advantage of tailwinds. But also equally important, and one of the things that we care about a lot as a venture capital fund, a lot of our returns come from 3-4 companies. Out of 20 odd investments, 3-4 companies generate outsized returns for us. But we do think about the 16 other entrepreneurs who spend 6 to 8 to 10 years of their precious life. And it's opportunity cost for them. So you have to be fully aware. Many times ignorance is bliss. You can't analyze too much. If you analyze too much, you won't start the journey. But be aware that this journey is not going to be easy. What people say once they become successful is not often the truth. I mean, we all market, right? To sell is human. I mean, I will have a lot of skeletons in my closet. Be very, very aware that it's going to be a very, very tough journey. Be prepared. There's no winning or losing in entrepreneurship. You always win because that experience is invaluable. And it is something that I consider as a very sacred journey. Yeah.
So just our context, when we started also, we did the research to say that if you're building a vertical B2B SaaS company that is going to have a meaningful outcome, it's a 10 to 15-year journey. So I think you have to think in those kind of terms if you want to build a globally interesting outcome. And other thing which is important is you will have a lot of tough parts you have to go through. The most important thing is to survive. And I think even the next 3 years, I think for most companies, the most important thing is survive to be ready to play the game when it becomes interesting. So that is very important for people to realize that you will have hard times and you have to go through that and keep going through, like Satish said, day at a time. You can't think 1 year later, what will I do? I have to, make my paycheck to my employees the next day if it's payroll day. I have to make sure that happens.
Satish, I keep seeing a lot of news items about exodus of startups going to Singapore and other countries. Is this still happening? And what is why those startups move from India to those destinations? How can we correct that?
I think that's a great question, Jay. The whole Indian Venture Capital Association, Ministry of Commerce, Startup India, everyone is thinking very hard. I think establishment of Gift City to create a similar structure like Mauritius or Cayman Islands or MAS in Singapore is kind of in that direction. Today, entrepreneurs find it very easy to raise capital and even exit if you are located offshore. When you headquarter in India, sometimes it becomes very difficult. I think under leadership of Minister Piyush Goyal, he's bringing all of them onto the same platform. If you look at all of the regulators, whether it's SEBI, whether it's RBI, CBDT, even including IRDA, the pension fund, to try and simplify as much as possible. I think it is necessary. I think some companies need to be headquartered outside because they are globally oriented. But companies that have significant presence in India are serving India markets and Indian customers. I think if you make it easy for them, they would be very, very open to having their headquarters back here. So I think it's work in progress. How soon will it happen? I don't know the answer, but there are a lot of efforts in that direction.
I just want to add, I think absolutely agreed. That's very, very important that that happens. And the reason why people actually do it is because of Y Combinator. I mean, that's the real reason, because they force you to actually set up in Delaware. So I think, a factor of these things plus that would actually change the ecosystem. Make it easier for investors to invest, at least based in India, because you have round-tripping issues and you have other regulatory issues that you don't want to be part of. So.
So we have to wrap up now, but before we leave, maybe each of you could give me a little bit on if there are people in the audience who want to move to Hyderabad, what would you say to them?
I would say, you know, the weather's good and this building is great, so relocate here.
I think I'm very biased, but I think it's still the best choice in India for a lot of factors. So I would encourage you to come in here, and there's a lot of interesting companies here. And I think with T-Hub, in 5 years, you'll see a lot more.
So I've always felt for the 45 or 60 days of heat, it gets compensated by the mangoes that you get right in the season. So for me, there has never been an issue. I think analyze what's critical for your business. Post-pandemic, it has become a virtual world. You have distributed workforce. Even if you have, of course, presence in other cities, you could have decent amount of presence here. And you choose the reasons. I mean, if you are a biotech, life sciences, pharma, bunch of these companies, even a deep tech, there's no reason not to be here, certainly. But analyze, you know, your critical success factors, pick the ones that make sense. But having some presence here absolutely is a no-brainer. And if you want to increase that presence based on your experience, that's fantastic.
Yeah, again, just to close, I think we have an incredible ecosystem here. We have a lot of people who are here to help you figure out whatever it is that you need. You have T-Hub, of course, if you need any help on that. Yeah, come to Telangana. Thanks to everybody on the panel. It was a great session.
Thank you so much. We request you to kindly stay back on the stage, ladies and gentlemen. What a brilliant discussion. Some of the very important and interesting points that I noticed was talent attracts capital, and of course, infrastructure attracts that capital or the investment, so to say. It is a very safe city, so one huge round of applause for the Telangana police and the government here that keeps us all very safe. Friendly people, yes. If you're in town, you can surely test that whether people here are friendly or not. We definitely are. Ladies and gentlemen, the alignment of goals was a very important point here. The alignment of goals between the government and the corporates here is extremely important. That is what drives all the startups here to their destinations. Ladies and gentlemen, with this, I now invite on stage Mr. Paneer Selvan M., the Chief Innovation Officer, T-Hub, to please join us on stage and hand over the token of appreciation to our panelists and the moderator. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, a small announcement for all of you. Parallelly, the other sessions are also going on, the registered ones. So please note the sessions that you had registered for, and you can make your way for that. Moving on here. The food tech industry in India is emerging as the fastest growing industry in the country. And one of the major contributors to this success is an online food ordering and delivery platform, Swiggy. We kindly request everyone to please move to the lounge for networking. We will begin with the next speaker very shortly. For everyone who had registered for the next talk that will be coming up with Mr. Sriharsha Majeti, co-founder and CEO of Swiggy, will be coming up shortly. We request everyone to move to the lounge for the networking. We request everyone to please move to the lounge for networking, and everyone registered for this session to stay back, please.
For a long internship, have very, very fond memories. My co-founder